We're native, we're here, we've always been here, we're not leaving.
One of my dearest friends who's Navajo said, gosh, my family said there were no Indians in New England. That is a very common situation, particularly for New England native people, because we went underground, we hid. We, in some ways, ceased to exist in the history books and in people's minds.
We go into the school system to help educate, and they'll say, well, you don't look Indian, you know. Well, what do they look like? You know, you're seeing the natives that are out west with the dark hair and the dark skin and dark eyes. What I can say to that is I am Abenaki. I may have hazel eyes and brownish blonde hair, but I am who I am, and I know who I am.
So many, many people in Vermont have Native American blood. I bet some of you do. Do any of you know? So there's how many of you? Can you put your hands up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
There is a difference on the way we grew up and the way someone else's kid grew up. I think within the Abenaki families, even though they don't realize how much Abenaki they have in them, the culture plays a really strong role in a kid's life.
You boys ready? I'm ready.
Turn that jacket inside out.
I did a lot of squirrel hunting as a child. Not so much the big game, but small game. I used to go quite a bit with my mother, and then Dad would take us bird hunting. I used to have friends come to the house. Some of them wouldn't eat there because they didn't know what we were eating.
You feel things coming before you can hear them. You can smell things that other people can't smell. And all of these things is Europe that everyone has, but because of being sheltered and you don't have to watch for anything, the alertness goes away.
You know, when it comes to the environment, we're very educated people in our own way. We are taught of how the environment works and how to protect it.
Oh.
This is gonna be like our last shot. If that
In order to give respect, you have to acknowledge the fact that every other creature on this earth is as important in the scheme of things and as important to creation as you are. And if everyone and everything is treated with that respect, then we have to be living in a good way, which is why Native people living in a traditional manner take only what they need. You don't go out and kill because it's a sport, because it's fun. There's nothing fun about killing your relative. Everything on this earth is our relation.
Oh, the deer's been here. A little while ago. This looks like a couple of deer went through here. Don't want to fawn, maybe, because...
Probably a doe and a fawn.
Yeah, because it's got a pretty wide trail. I hope I'm going the right way. trail's over there.
The basis for our spirituality is that the Creator created all of the things that are in the world, including the world itself, out of its own spirit and made it physical. And the earth itself is alive, and so is the sun. All of the living things that are on the earth are the children of the earth, because they come from the earth with the help of the sun. All spirits are things that keep people alive, or animals, or grass, or anything else, are all connected to the one spirit, so that creation for us is not a man creating, but rather a pure spirit creating all life. Now, with all life coming from one spirit, then we're related to everything that's alive, because we're all of a common spirit. So, in our spiritual feeling, the earth and the sun and all of the plants, the insects, the animals, and everything are all related to us. And one of our prayers is to say, we thank you, Creator, for giving us all our relatives. And the relatives support us, they support our life, and then later on we go into the ground and help to support their life. So we all are connected in that way in a spiritual sense as well as a physical sense. Because of this, we try to teach the children that it's very important to recognize that all life belongs to the spirit and no life belongs to us. All life is sacred.
In our belief system, the first person that you pray to is the Creator, then your ancestors, then your elders, then the children. And that's always been something that's been taught for years and years, as long as I can remember.
It was important who our family was. It was important who our ancestors were. It was important what our great-grandfathers had done and where we came from.
You know, my father loved his grandmother, and because we were told about her every day, it was like we knew her. In spirit, she was right with us no matter where we went. She walks with us every day of our life because of what he told us about her.
It's a good one. That's a pound, almost pound and a half. I went with my father. Pretty much took me fishing, hunting. Probably when I barely could walk. I don't know if it's in my blood. I pretty much do the same thing my father did when he was alive. But they pretty much fish for a living back when he was younger in the winter time. When he got into fish like this, he would always get down on one knee and keep close to himself so people couldn't see him really pulling him up, you know. I remember I was fishing over at the breakwater and got into the perch. That's when my father was older, and he just took a ride down, and he was watching me from the shore, and I was down on one knee. You know, it reminded of him out there. Some guys will come and hit them like this, and they're going to sit here for 2-3 weeks. They're going to fish until there's nothing left. You know, I was brought up not to waste neither, you know, no matter how big or small it is. I won't just kill it and leave it in a bucket and forget about it. It's pretty fun out here, quiet, when you're by yourself.
Older is me. I'm older than you are, probably older than everyone here. An elder is a person with knowledge that will help his people. Just because your hair turns gray does not make you an elder. Just because you lived a little bit longer does not make you an elder.
In the Native community, your elders are your wisdom, your spiritual guidance. If you want some wisdom, you go to an elder. And if they've got it, they'll tell you. If they don't, they'll tell you who to go to.
See what we can find here. Oh, there's some good ones here, Melissa.
I know there's that one, I think it's that
Just tradition that's passed down from generation to generation.
The week that you and Mommy have off, maybe we can make salve while they're here.
Yeah. And you can teach me because I never got to teach.
Yes, that's right. Well, I haven't taught your mother either.
Sometimes it's the grandparents teaching this tradition. Sometimes it's the parents. Sometimes it's an aunt, uncle.
This is a good tree there, because there are quite a few good ones up here. If there was a family gathering and we would sit down and we would talk about important things, the children were included in that conversation. And our views were listened to with respect.
If an Abenaki child was walking down the street, the child knew that there was 50 or 60 set of eyes that were watching them around the clock. Everybody in the community helps raise that child.
There were many things we learned growing up that you do just because that's the way your family does them.
We used to take Rainy bass fishing. He was in a car seat. He wasn't very old. Did he get to fish? No, but he was always with us at the river, so he knew.
Here come those flying geese.
Those flying geese are coming?
Hey, Grandma. Uh-oh, those geese are flying in the woods.
Let it go.
Oh, I'm gonna give him yours. Hey.
No.
Here you go, Bobby.
Wait a second. Yes, I know you pull it. You pull this paper.
The children were very much a part of the community, considered individuals, loved, respected, honored.
Get a hold of the roll up.
Yeah, do.
And then with 2 spoons. Yeah. 2 spoons, that kid.
People didn't have a written language, so that everything that was happened in our history had to be carried.
So when you start with that piece, you're going to go
On this side?
no, you're going to continue with, where is it? Right there. So you're going to want to start probably under that one. And push that down a little. Jackie's very interested in learning about plants. Ben is to a certain extent. I try to work in as much as I can, teaching them about the culture, and they belong to the dance group too, so the Abenaki culture has been a part of their lives. That's going to follow them through their whole life, and hopefully they'll teach their children too. Good, looks good. A lot of times when I'm making baskets, I'll think about my great-grandmother making baskets, and feel a sense of connectedness there.
The things that I learned the most from my grandparents were how to treat each other. Their way of teaching was more as a guide rather than a teacher.
There's some nice ones. This is what it's all about. I used to go a lot with my dad. He's taking us all berrying. All 11 kids. Fishing, berrying, gathering berries, deer hunt, mush riot. My father taught me when I first started picking. I'd pick all the big ones on top. I'd swear I'd outpick him. My boy, I did the same thing with my boy. He'd do the exact same thing. He'd go around and pick just the big ones. We'd get at the end of the day and he'd say, "How come, Dad, you got more berries than I do?" I tell him, I said, "Well, you're gonna learn the same way I learned. Can't be afraid to get dug up, because some of your best berries are under the bushes."
They never let go of certain parts of the culture. They always did their fishing, they always did their trapping, they always hunted, they always gathered berries. And I think that was a way of life, though. You know, for them, that was survival.
That's a good one.
And I mean, we grew up the same way. I mean, I enjoyed blackberry picking. You enjoy going fishing. And you love watching the little ones learn.
Bring it back and pause for a second. Let it settle. There you go. Nice cast. There you go. Let them really go at it. So I've got my line a little loose. I want to bring that in, right? Tighten it up a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I would tighten it up a little bit. Oh, hey, did you see that? I got a bite. Oh yeah, I've got him good too. Look at him, he's like water skiing, huh?
It's a big one.
What is he? Oh, a bass. I guess my father sums it up best. He told me once that he always knew that he was from a native family, from an Indian family, but he also always knew that he was never supposed to know. So things weren't talked about.
I grew up proud of who I was from the day I was born. My family was always on the front line, so my name stuck out. And I knew a lot of other families that weren't so public, and I never could figure out why they weren't public with it. I knew they were Abenaki, but I couldn't figure out, you know, why they wouldn't be proud of it and they were ashamed of it until I found out about the eugenics movement. And I didn't find that out until my late teens. So, and I have elders that still live in this community that will not say that they're Abenaki, and I know they are.
My mother had a combination of being very proud of being Indian and very ashamed of being Indian, because at the time of her life that she grew up in, she was actively discriminated against.
My mother, for instance, you know, she's very Abenaki, she knows it, but was hesitant to come to any of the gatherings or drummings at first because, you know, what's this all about? Is it safe? You know, these kind of things. She's still from that generation. She came to a gathering, and first time she heard the drum, and it brought tears to her eyes. It moved her so much. It was a living thing that stirred inside of her.
You know, there's different connections that are being made. We're all related. We're all family. No matter if you live at Odenak in Canada or Vermont or New Hampshire, Maine.
I'll be there in just a second. Take these two here, and then these two, and then these two. Okay?
A lot of these younger kids are being told at a very young age who they are, you know, and how to be proud of who you are and hold your head up and don't be ashamed of who you are. You know, that's being taught a lot more now.
And you're going to have to thread a bead onto it, and it's going to be kind of hard. But if you twist it, the bead will go on fine. I'll show you, Rob. How you coming? Let me see. Now you got to get some beads. You got to put through.
I thrive on the fact that we're going into another generation of kids, and I have great nieces and nephews, and I'm hoping that 10 years from now that these kids are going to be doing the dances and doing the language and, you know, everything that we didn't get to do.
Finding one's way.
You're studying that in school?
Yep, it's about Abenakis. And how a kid got picked on during school, so he made a report. They said that he wasn't an Indian, and they said that he was just a sissy squaw, and how come he wasn't running around half naked and living in wigwams, so they didn't think he was an Indian. And so he done a lot of his studying. He talked to his grandmother and his uncle, and he made a report saying that he was Indian and how they were and what they were like.
Yeah. Did you know some of the stuff that was in that?
Just about all of it.
I just hope that when this video's done, that it educates Vermonters about the Abenakis and our way of life. And, you know, we need to live in peace and harmony. And, you know, the racism's got to stop. I've been saying that for years and years. And I know, I've lived it. And if one child can learn to stop racism, then it's worth it. The video's worth it. That's all I've got to say.